I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. What is the best quadcopter in the 3-inch size class? I think I know the answer. I'm not afraid to say it. You guys are, maybe you're going to agree with me, maybe you're going to argue with me. I think I know the best 3-inch quadcopter that you can buy. And it's not this one. It's not the Diatone GTR369, which is the one I'm holding right now. This is the 6S low KV version of the Diatone GTR349, which in my opinion is the best 3-inch quadcopter you can buy. So let's dive in. Let's talk about this quad, why it's so good, and why I think the 349 is better. Alrighty folks, as usual we're going to start off with some flight footage. I always like to let you just get a look at how the quad flies before we start digging into the technical details. And I'm going to give you the whole flight. This whole flight is actually like 4 minutes. Decent flight time on this guy. As you're looking at this, what I want to suggest you ask yourself is 2 questions. Number 1, how do you think this flies compared to like a full-size 5-inch? And number 2, how do you think that this guy, the 6S version, flies compared to the 349, the 4S version? Just compare, because one of the questions we got to ask in this video is it worth it to go to 6S on a quad this small? I'm going to leave you with that question. I'm going to let you watch the flight. And if at any point, I do suggest you watch the very end of the flight. Something happens at the end of the flight that people are always asking me about. It finally happened. But if you start to get a little bit bored, I'll put a timestamp in the upper left-hand corner. It'll pop out and you can just skip ahead to the review. My tagline on this channel is, you're going to learn something today. And every time I do a review of a product, I try to think of an angle where I'm not just reviewing the product, and I mean, learning about the product to me isn't where I like to stop. I like to give you a little bit more than that. And what I want to focus on in this video is, where is the sweet spot for prop size? Because it's a fact that for certain types of flying, there is a better prop size. For example, why is it that 5-inch mini quads have just kind of been the standard for so freaking long? Well, it turns out that the larger a prop is, the more efficient it is, but the less responsive it is. And it turns out that for the weight of quad that we're building and size of quad that we're building, 5 inches is actually, in some objective ways, the sweet spot where you get enough thrust and enough speed, but not so much sort of lack of responsiveness and so on. So then why are we looking at 3-inch? Because with 3-inch quads, someone has moved the slider of what we're looking to get out of the flight experience. We've basically, the major thing we've done is moved to a smaller weight class. And by going to that smaller weight class, now we're looking for the new sweet spot where the best prop size is. And if you think about it, think about like a quad with 1.5 inch props, or even a very, very good 2-inch quad. It doesn't have quite the same speed as something like this does. And in fact, if we compare something like this, the Diatone GTR369, with this is the Emax Hawk 4-inch, it's very interesting because I have to say thank you to Albert Kim, who speed gunned this guy. The Diatone is faster. So 3-inch. 3-inch seems to be a really sweet spot for quads in this weight class. The performance is very good. It's not quite as stable as 4-inch, but it's still stable enough, and it's got way more speed, power, and punch than a 2-inch. How much weight? What weight class are we in? Let's find out. Here is the GTR369, and this is the battery it uses. It's a 650 milliamp hour 6S, and it comes in at 284 grams. We're not under that magic 250 gram limit. The Emax Hawk comes in at 167 plus the battery, and it comes in at 263 grams. Is that 263? 280. Holy crap. the freaking I really didn't. It is not what I thought was going to happen. It's because of the battery. This freaking 6S battery. How much does it weigh? 129 for the 6S, and for the Hawk, it's 96. Holy crap! Come on, tear to 0. The Diatone battery is 33 grams heavier. Wow. This guy. Wow. Okay, well, I got to rethink the next thing I was going to say, because that is not what I expected. Be right back with you. The Hawk is lighter. I really thought it was going to be heavier. How is the Hawk lighter? It's got to be the battery. Yeah, it's got to be the battery. I mean, how much do the quads weigh compared to each other? 155 and 11 grams heavier. So the Hawk, the 4-inch, is 11 grams heavier. But the battery on the Diatone is 35 grams heavier, and that makes up a difference. That is really something. But that actually goes back to what I was going to say, which is reasons why I think the 4S version of this guy is better. Why did Diatone go with a 6S on this quad? I'm not sure. Because the purported advantages of 6S low KV are increased motor torque, reduced amps going through the wires, which means less voltage drop in the wire and less heat buildup. And I don't know, unicorn magic, I don't know. Those are the things I think of when I think of 6S low KV. Does a little quad like this need a ton of torque in the motors? Is the flight time, is the sag on the battery particularly bad? I'm not sure. People who are more knowledgeable and more experienced than me with 3-inch quads weigh in and tell me what you think. But to me, this doesn't seem like a problem crying out for a solution. It seems like maybe just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. This little guy definitely flies more like a micro than a 5-inch, but boy, it flies really good. It's fast as the dickens. It's really fast. It's got a lot of punch and a lot of pop, and it handles really well. The feature set that Diatone puts into their quads, all of their ready-to-fly quads have a really amazing feature set. And actually, it's very impressive that Diatone has managed to keep that feature set even going into the micros. So you can see that the one I've got is the upgraded model that actually has a legit TBS Unify video transmitter. It goes all the way up to 800 milliwatts. If you buy this one, you don't have to give up range by having a little crappy micro video transmitter that only goes to 200 and runs out of range on you. The feature set of the flight controller is very full featured. It has all the features you would want, smart audio, etc. It doesn't have a smart port telemetry port. You will need to do resource remapping if you want to do smart port telemetry. It's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. You can see here, for example, that the solder beads on this guy are they're just really beautiful. Very good job done. These ones are mine, so. But the build quality overall is excellent. One of the things I struggled with when I got the quad was where to install the receiver. I found that the best place to install the receiver, at least for me, was right here behind the camera. It was a little tricky to route the wires to where they need to go. The way they have it comes with a plug coming out the back, and I'm just not even sure where you're supposed to put it on the back. There's just not a lot of room there. But there's plenty of room here if you've got a little receiver. If you've got a big receiver, just give up to put it right behind the antenna. And you can see that I've got the antennas mounted off the front arms sticking backwards right there. The front end here is definitely the weak spot of the quad. One of the advantages that you get when you go to these smaller, lighter, because it's lighter than a 4-inch. One of the advantages that you get when you go to these smaller, lighter quads is that they take less damage. So this carbon fiber plate here, the bottom plate is, I mean, you could crash the dickens out of it and probably not break it. But the front end, the plastic front end here, it's designed to protect the camera, and it does take a hit in a crash, and it definitely will break in a hard enough crash. This is probably the most common place that they break. In fact, as I look at it, I wonder if Diatone might, maybe there's something I'm missing here, but maybe it would make sense to extend the carbon out so the carbon actually took the hit in a crash and helped protect the bottom edge here. This is really where you're going to dig in. Other than that, I don't know that there's a whole lot to say about this quad. It flies really good. It's very feature-packed. It's got really good build quality. And overall, I think it's a pretty good value for money when you look at what else is out there available in the same price range. So why then am I saying that this Diatone 369 is not the one I recommend, but actually I would recommend the Diatone GT349? To help address that question, let's take a look at another piece of footage that I got. I'm flying here at this amazing location. Thank you to Stinger Swarm and Mr. Steele and the other Atlanta guys for taking me out and showing me this. This location is way harder to fly than it looks like it would. If you want to see somebody tear this up, you can check out Schizo, Stingy, and Steele, who have all flown it and ripped it up. It looks like it should be super easy to fly, but then you start actually, I mean, you're going to see me do the super easy stuff, but you start getting in the really tight spot that Steele makes look super easy, or shooting these from the moon gaps that Stinger Swarm makes look easy, and you go, oh no, this is, and you will destroy stuff at this site. And that is where we're going to kind of segue into talking about why I think maybe the 349 is the one to get. But let me give you my opinion of how the 369 compares, because I flew Aaron Ciotti. He gave me one of his 3-inch quads to fly, and compared to that thing, the Diatone is an absolute beast. It is faster, more powerful, more agile, and some of that's got to come down to the fact that it's running on 6S. So when I say that I think the 349 is the one to get, I'm not necessarily saying that this, I'm definitely not saying that the 6S is not better. But there's one way that I think the 6S falls short, and it has to do with durability. In that last crash at the office park, I destroyed the ESC. I mean, the motors seem fine. They twitch and they don't spin. I think it's the ESC. To Diatone's credit, they are sending me another ESC and another set of motors. Of course they are. I'm a reviewer. Would they do that for you, though? I don't know. I couldn't say. I will say that if I had paid $200 for this thing, and after about 15 packs, I crashed it in that particular crash and it died, I'd be pretty freaking annoyed. I hate working on these little micros. They are such a pain in the butt to take apart because they're just so small and fiddly, and the solder joints are all tiny. And even though Diatone is sending me a new ESC and motors for this guy, I'm going to be cussing the whole time I'm replacing them. If I had to buy them, I'd be cussing even more. And I think that the fact that this is a 6S ESC makes it more likely to pop in a crash like that than if it was running 4S. Because it's the same ESC. I don't know if it's the same ESC or not. I would presume that the 349 is using the exact same ESC. I could be wrong about that. The bottom line is that when you run an ESC on 6S, you're probably running closer to the edge of the rating of the FETs, and you're more likely in a voltage spike to toast the ESC. And here's the thing. I don't have the 349 in this review, but I have flown the 349, borrowed it from folks who own it, and it also flies amazing. I think the 369 beats it just a little bit in terms of speed, but the 349 is a really freaking good flying quad, and I would give up just that little bit of speed to get what I think is probably increased durability because you're running off of 4S voltage. The other thing about the 349 is there's actually a high-def version of it. If you like this, if you want a 3-inch high-def, there's a version of it that comes with I guess it's a CADX, I'm not 100% sure. It comes with one of those split-style cameras. Obviously, it's going to be a little heavier and not fly the same as something that is non-HD. But again, the 349, I think that's the direction to go. Joshua from the future here. Hey, Joshua, in the past, you talked about flight characteristics and durability. You forgot the one thing that everybody else except you big shot YouTube reviewer, and one thing that everybody else is concerned about that you overlooked is the freaking price. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a note to myself to talk about the price difference between these two guys, and then I never look at my notes. I just talk, and the price of the 349 is $140. The price of the 369 is $200. You're going to pay a $60 premium for that small but definitely there increase in performance for the 369. You got to really want that 6S, and for me, the 349 is already so freaking good that I just don't see how you would want to pay $360 more to go up to 6S. So that is going to do it for my review of the Diatone GTR369. Kudos to Diatone for consistently making very, very good ready-to-fly and bind-to-fly quads. The whole Diatone range is good. I can think of one. Two. Okay. Diatone doesn't always hit with every quad they try to make. Like, the Diatone GTM515 was a 5-inch bi-blade prop ultralight quad with 1806 motors, and I was like, wow, what are you doing, Diatone? And then it turned out that the motors weren't actually that durable, because 1806 motors with 2mm shafts on 5-inch props, not the best idea. But it's so cool that Diatone is out there trying to do these things, and when they hit, as I think they have hit a total home run with the GTR349, then they really make a heck of a good quad at a heck of a good price. So there's links to, yes, this guy, yes, and the 349 down in the video description. And if this video has helped educate you, helped you make a better buying decision, or just made you chuckle, or filled your boring afternoon with my sonorous voice, whatever you get out of the video, if you do get something out of it, one way you can help me out, help support the channel, is by using the affiliate links down in the video description. You click any of those links, you go to the store, and you make any purchase. Any purchase. You don't have to buy the item if you want to help support the channel. Just click those links all the freaking time, and then do your normal shopping, and I will get a small commission. Thank you so much.